Touchdown.
All right, perfect. Thanks. What my clinic is, you want to hit the down button, Devin? I'm sorry, I got all these actions in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do is, so to make it easier, I have my thing. So Devin, what you can do is just when we get to it, just go to the whole slide so everyone sees it. So what my clinic is about today, and I want to thank everyone for having me and everyone for coming in today, and everyone, I hope you stay safe and things like that. What I'm going to talk about is my flag football book a little bit. It is the Didactic Trapezoid and the Arch for all levels of flag football. My name is Anthony Stone. I'll go over that in a second. With Rockford Boylan High School, I'm the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks, running backs, and offensive box coach for the high school. I also coach my son's flag team, and the only reason I coach them is because when he was 5 years old, nobody wanted the Bad News Bears, so pretty much I took all the 10 kids that played, and I took them that did not want to play, that no coach wanted them, so I took them and I created a team. Okay, the next slide is very simple, the watch game film thing. If you see it, like again, I don't get anything from Becky in return. I'm just telling you per se, I'm telling you, this is what you want to do. Try the 1 month free if you're not sure, but $50 for 50% off for 1 year for unlimited storage is huge. I know I saw somebody talk about a chat earlier about how Huddle's ridiculous. I saw it pop up on the screen. So I'm just saying, look into it. I used to write blogs for Huddle, and I'll talk about that too if you want to down the road, but I'm just giving you a heads up. The next slide that you see is Just Play. If you don't have any of that, I would definitely look into it. It's a Coach Stone free pro package. You can put films and plays into it. I've written 9 books, and you'll see that later in the slides at the end, where Just Play partnered with me to let me put their slides in my football books. And if you want to, there's a link right there, or we can share it in the chat or afterwards. I could put it on that 5 on 5 website for Devin, or Devin can do that. Okay, next slide, please. The next thing is, if you don't, keep going, Devin, they gotta see everything. If you don't learn 2 things from me after today, please tell me, because I'll stop doing these from now on. But here's my first tip for all of you. Don't tell me what they can't do, certain thing. Tell me what they can do, and then figure it out as coaches, because that's our job. How we can use that is that's our responsibility. And that's from Joe Judge, a former Patriots guy. I know if you guys are Patriots fans. My son's a huge Patriots fan. But I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to be good. If you don't believe me, I guarantee you they'll probably win 8 games this year. You might think that's funny, but watch what this guy can do. Belichick does a great job with his assistants. And I know some of you probably think he's not that good, but he is really, really good. On the next slide, I want to thank everyone for all you coaches and players I've coached against, or coached against me or with me. Without them, I wouldn't be at where I'm at today. So I want to thank everybody at all that. Next slide, please. Hit it one more time. Oh, go back. Oh, sorry. So you can't see it. Let me see. Devin, let me see if I can share.
Okay, go. I'm going to stop then. Go for it.
Because I'm having good internet here, so then I don't have to keep going back and forth with you. Can everybody see that?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So let me just get the slideshow going. So this is where I've been. I've worked for a lot of these companies and things like that. I just recently, last year, I did the New York football flag thing for Austin Bradshaw. I did the Sony Michel football camp for him. If you look at all the things I've done USA football as a regional master trainer. I've been to BAFA and I presented on special teams, linebackers, and things like that, and tackling. So that's pretty much my thing in a nutshell. Devin, can you unmute Kevin Lynch? He just came on. And when you tell me when he's ready to talk, I'll let him talk. So this is my company really quick before I go into my topic. What is Coach Stone Football? You can go to CoachStoneFootball.com. What I did was I took my combined for teaching and my love for teaching and passion for football and created Coach Stone Football in the spring of 2017. I've done extremely well with the company since then. If you want to go to my website, you can see a lot of things. I created a lot of my Back to the Basics books. Right now, I'm currently at 9. I have 11 done though, and the football camps to teach stuff. So if you would like me to come to your country and run a football camp, I'm more than happy to. All we got to do is talk things out once this whole thing ends, and I would be honored to do that. My thing is fundamentals lays the foundation while utilizing the necessary skill to become a better athlete. Is Kevin on yet, Devin?
I can't find what's coach. What's his name? Coach CK or what?
It'd be Kevin Lynch or K-Man if he's emailed in. I'll ask him real quick because he says he's unmuted. Just unmute everybody and then he'll talk.
Tell him to text me.
Oh, I don't know how he's going to text you because he can't. He's not in a Facebook chat group. That's why.
No, it should be in here and you can text me off the.
Oh, yeah. So, Kevin, hit the chat button on the bottom. So scroll all the way down to where it says chat and then hit on that and then he'll let you in. I want to personally thank everyone for each coach for making a difference in players' lives. And also, hang on, chat text Devin. He will unmute you. Making everybody's literature live and both on and off the field. Okay, so here's our outline. So we already did all the stuff. I already talked about myself a little bit. I don't need to really go into what I've done and things like that. You saw that with the slide. But what I want you to do is make sure you please learn 2 things from me today. So here we go. An FBI thing. If you want to take a picture of this, or I can send it to you a PDF. When you do a clinic like this or Zoom clinics, what I would recommend you do is put your topic, whatever they're talking about. What do you do successful now? And what can you add to your football program realistically? Now, listen, I understand that not every country has the athletes like USA and Mexico, because I heard the guy earlier saying they're the top teams. So some things you cannot do what they do, but at the end of the day, you can modify to your stuff, with all your stuff you have now, to make it better. For example, my 6-on-6 flag team you saw play, when they were 5 years old and we were playing against a bunch of 8-year-olds, we had to run no huddle offense and a bunch of trick plays. Now, I don't think you saw in the video the trick plays we run because we don't have to run them as much as we used to. But when we ran them, and we ran them so fast, kids at the older age couldn't get lined up fast enough, and it just helped us. And doing reverses at the young age really helped. And then those handoffs and throwbacks, we did all that to get the kids off their game. Coach Stone's didactic trapezoid. I created this because my previous books, my Back to the Basic drill manuals and volumes, I referred to the Coach Stone learning triangle for tackle. And I realized that wasn't enough for flag. So there are 4 points that I'm going to talk about, and in order to lay a foundation for a good flag football program or team. Coach Stone's learning triangle of tackle and Coach Stone's didactic trapezoid of flag is an unstoppable force based on the knowledge. Just like the learning triangle, each point is vital to learning the trapezoid. This didactic trapezoid will address 6-on-6 flag in a non-blocking league. And if you have any questions, please ask. If you would like to post this on your website, you're more than welcome to. The only thing I ask you to do is make sure you tag me in it or send me that you're doing it. That's all I'm asking for it. I used to work for a company that took all my stuff, and then thank goodness I got it all back finally. So here we go. Coach Stone's didactic trapezoid. Okay, if you think this is right, then tell me. If you think it's wrong, then I'm more than happy to listen to opinions and things like that. One, you need to teach everyone a position no matter what level they're at. So no matter what level in flag you're at, you need to teach the position. After that, you need to teach the handoff exchange because it's huge, because if the ball hits the ground, it is dead. Running routes is gigantic, and catching the football. Those are the major things you need to understand in the offensive side of the ball. At the end of the day, then, when you go to defense, understanding the man and zone principles. I don't know who's talked earlier and things like that, but I guarantee someone's going to talk about mixed coverage, man coverage, cover 6, man under 2 deep, quarter, half, things like that, with just using 5 players. And you have to do that because, just like someone said earlier, the game of football or any sport is like a chess game. And if you are playing chess, it's very important to know what piece is going to come next and what is your first, second, and third move coming from your opponent. And if you understand that, then you'll be able to do the next one. And the hardest one, I don't know if you guys think this is, but I noticed this with 5 through 8 years olds, is flag pulling is hard to teach. Especially when you have those NFL flag ones and they make that pluck sound. If you stuck them in deep enough on their first brand new ones, They're very hard to pull out for the younger kids. So what I did was I started doing a drill, and that's why I came up with my drill manual for my flag football book. If you teach all 4 of these things, you'll be able to do offensively run and offensively pass. And you'll also be able to defend it, and you'll also be able to do other things with that thing on both sides of the football. Devin, did you get on?
He did not.
Okay. I'll text him when we get to a Q&A. Okay, positions, very simple. I don't know if you guys agree with this. And like I said, when I started teaching, coaching flag, I coached flag for only about 10 years now. So quarterback is the one position. We have a center, a wide receiver, a running back, and a scat back. A scat back is a wide receiver, running back. Now I do have 2 quarterbacks usually in the game at one time, and you'll see that later on. But that's what I do for my positions. If I were you, I would just write down your positions and put that in there. For handoff exchange, running routes and catching in football, what it is, everyone needs to learn how to snap and catch at least. So here's the biggest thing. Some people will have teams where they'll have the kid that's super fast, and then all of a sudden, all they will do is, once they do that, they won't do anything else. So what you want to do is make sure you teach them how to catch and snap the football, because having more than one center helps, because I know whatever happens at the end of the day, you got to be aware, if your center goes down and no one can snap, you are in big trouble. And I see some of the film I saw, the snap is so far back. Flag pulling, hashtag enough said. If you can't pull flags, you are in big trouble, okay? Understanding man and zone principles. Here's what I would tell you when you're teaching zone. I've never seen grass catch a football, so don't cover it, okay? If you scout teams, you'll know where they're gonna go before they go. Because no matter what, everyone gives a tell up, just like in cards, okay? Oops. Are there any questions or anything at this time? And I think he's in right now, Devin, just so you know.
Can you hear me, Coach?
Yes, Kevin, you take over, man. I'm not gonna brag about your stuff now, but I will later. Go ahead.
Hey guys, first of all, I'm a last second ad, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate what you do. Coach has been a great believer in our products. It's secondskull.com, the number 2ndskull.com. We make supplementary head protection for all sports, really. We started as a football company. We won a $100,000 NFL grant, a very competitive thing from the NFL. We improve every single football helmet we've ever tested it in at the NFL labs, including the Vices helmet at $2,000 a pop. They went out of business. So we think that our business model is better, which is making not the greatest helmets perform very, very well for a small amount of money and trying to rebuild a product that's inherently good. So I encourage you to go to the website. And if you go to the info bar, you'll get me. We have significant team discounts that Coach Stone knows. You can reach him directly if you are familiar with him. And also, quickly, I don't want to take too much of your time. You can ask questions if you want. It's a patented product. It is 2 millimeters thick so that it doesn't have any issues fitting under the helmet. It works both rotationally and linearly, so it improves the helmet both ways that you need it improved. It's lightweight and breathable, and that we invented a new one for the NFL that's as breathable as a skull cap without protection, and it looks just like what Cam Newton wears. That being said, I'm switching quickly. Again, you can ask me questions. Based on all the flag football that I'm seeing, we have 2 products. We have a 4 millimeter headband that was designed for soccer. It's used in a number of sports, including the full contact, non-helmeted AFL football league, and they tend to like the headbands because they stay on. And we have a new product designed in Europe for the professional soccer league, but we think with some modifications, it's going to be terrific for flag football. It protects the whole head. It's snug, and it's the same. It's 4 millimeters of pour-on, and it's very stylish, and people there's no stigma to wearing it, and it makes everybody safer playing. So especially, we know hitting the ground and running into players is the 2 big things, even in the NFL. And the other thing we know, the concussions go up incredibly high when it's cold. Ankle injuries and concussions go up dramatically once the weather gets cold. So if you have any questions, let me know. And again, thank you so much for even giving me this time. Again, it's www.2ndskull.com. And you can call me directly at 412-576-1458. I'm happy to talk to any of you if you want a sample. Anything you want, we're here. We're two things, keeping kids safe and participation. We want kids to play. We think this empowers everybody to give the parents that next step to let their kids get on the field. Thank you.
Kevin, can I give him your email address, your Kman1966?
Yeah, actually give him this one, K. Lynch, Lynch, at the number 2ndskull.com.
So it's K.Lynch at number 2ndskull.com.
That is correct. And I gave you my cell, which is 412-576-1458. That'll reach me anytime, and even at quarantine, you can get me.
I put it in the chat for everyone, so if you're in the Zoom group chat, you all see it now. So
thanks, Coach.
You're welcome, man. Hey, have a great one. I'll call you later tomorrow.
Okay. I'm gonna unmute.
See you.
I'm gonna mute.
All right. Are there any questions right now? Devin, do we have any questions? I didn't check.
We do not at the moment.
All right, perfect. So let me go on to the next thing now. I created the following learning techniques to make sure that both players and coaches fully understand the playbooks. Okay, so this is called the arch. Okay, the insertion, I don't know if you guys use this or not, but here's a cool thing you're going to get today. So the insertion schedule, it's like a rainbow. Okay, so you have insertion schedule, practice plans, and playbooks. If you're not using these three things, your programs will not be successful, I guarantee you. Okay, so this is the flag insertion schedule. Okay, the importance of a flag insertion schedule is this, and if you have purchased my flag book before, my tackle books, you do get these when you write a review online. If you've been around football for a while, I'm sure you remember the days when coaches just stretched players, made them run a few laps, and then go straight into scrimmaging the rest of the practice. Those days are over. What do you do with youth players actually during those practices? Nothing. Even with your adults, you don't do nothing when that happens. You have an insertion schedule. Why? An insertion schedule is an important piece of every coaching plan, every coach's practice plan, and will make your life so much easier. Because I know everyone in here, all the 50 plus people or 60 or 70 plus people, I know all of you love losing, okay? No matter if you're at the youth level or the adult level, because coaches don't spend the time together talking. Oftentimes they are just meeting in the fields before they start. If you have national teams, if national team coaches are not talking once a week, then things are getting lost in translation before they have their meetings with you guys. It is a list that be completed with a certain amount of time. The items on the list are necessary steps that lead to a football team's success. And an insertion schedule is a useful tool when it comes to teaching the game's most important all-player skills, including tackling. You should say flag and turnovers. I'm sorry. Okay. By implementing these, you will lay a foundation for your program's success, and your athletes will be safer. Also, your athletes are more likely to absorb the material given to you so they can retain the skills developed the next level of play. Remember that every level of football is different, so you lay the foundation for a better chance the athletes have to improve. Are there any questions on that? Okay. I don't know if you can see can everybody see all this, Devin? So what I want to do is this. All you have to do, if you want to receive a free copy of my insertion schedule, all you got to do is complete the following steps, 1 or 2. Follow me on Twitter, or just go to my Coach Stone Facebook, Coach Stone Football Back to the Basics Facebook site. And if you do that, I will definitely give you a free copy no matter what. So if you want to, if you do one of the 2, you're more than happy to have them. So I just want you to know that. So the insertion schedule that you see here, that right there on top, it is writable. So I know you see it's blank on the left side. It's not blank because when I transferred over in the book or whatever, it doesn't show because of copyright issues. So it's a writable PDF file that you can change, put dates, put players on there and everything. So. Okay. inside the top of the article. Okay. Sorry. So the middle of the arch is the practice plans. Here's the question you have to ask yourself. Do you know what you had for dinner on this day 5 years ago? Well, probably now everyone will do because of coronavirus, because we're probably all eating the same things, right? So, but honestly, you don't. Of course you're not. That's why it's utilized to have a practice plan that helps you record what you do and allows you to be more an effective coach. What needs to be in a flag football practice? Very simple. You need to have stretching, FWU. Hopefully everyone has that. And I guarantee you, all of you do these. If you don't, you can always add them to your program. Have a pre-practice. Have a walk through the quarterbacks. Have snaps with your quarterbacks and centers. Do something in pre-practice that you can do. Catching drills. Something that you can take away, because you know how it is sometimes with flag football. Okay? How many people show up for practice? And then game time, everyone shows up. So when you're doing pre-practice, make sure you have that. When you have a hidden yardage section where you're putting trick plays or new plays in for older players, you know, with all the throwbacks and things like that, if you don't practice that a couple times, you don't know if it's going to work or not. Pre-practice walkthrough. Now, I know pre-practice was up on top, but when you do a pre-practice / walkthrough, that means you're walking through the play. So all times when you are scouting your opponents and things like that, like it's like a broken record everyone's saying, you can walk through, hey, when this guy lines up here and his left foot is up, he's doing this. When this guy's doing this quarterback scans left to right or right to left, he tells away, or when he places his feet a certain way. Your indie time is when your individual coaches, if you have enough, will tell you, or they will just give you something like my teams do. I will give my coach or assistant coach, or my kids will show them a drill on a piece of paper or my phone, and then they'll run the drill for me. Group is when you bring a couple people together, either quarterbacks and receivers. Quarterbacks and receivers, or you can have the centers, quarterbacks, receivers together, or you can have the running backs and quarterbacks and centers together doing group work. Scully, run section. So what I do in flag football, we have one part of the section where we just run the football, and then one part of the section we just throw the football and nothing else for that 10-minute section. We will do a scout D versus O. So if you do this and you do watch your other teams, then you can show where they line up and who's lining up in certain spots and what they are actually doing. What does the to the cone drill mean? That's something in my book. When you're running your offense, after the play is done, no matter good or bad, they will all run to the cone. So you'll have a cone 15 to 20 yards out. You'll place it down, and then you'll have one right by the center. What they'll do is they'll run the play one way, boom, and then everyone runs down to the cone. The coach will blow the whistle, because what does a whistle mean, everyone? It means to stop. So stop using a whistle. Stop using a whistle to start a drill. Okay, it just helps the players out immensely, no matter what age group you're doing, especially for the older guys. Okay, when you do the cone drill on the way back, just run the play, a different play, the other way, and then you're just going back and forth. And you're also doing conditioning while you're doing that. Scout O versus D, you follow your team around, right? And then what you do is a 2-whistle drill is this. Once the flag is pulled, the flag is slammed to the ground right where it's pulled at. That's what I teach all my levels, no matter from youth to ladies to adult. And then once you do that, everyone else runs around the flag. The coach will run with it usually. And then we usually have a younger coach, because I'm not that young anymore. And then what we'll do is we'll blow the whistle, and then they line back up on defense. Team, us versus us. And I think this is good too, because you got to have it sometimes. You play against each other just to see if there's any wrinkles or things you can do against you that you wouldn't see otherwise. Conditioning by playing games. I have some games that are on my website you can use as a group. You go to coachstonefootball.com and just go under PE games, and you can play games instead of running them ladders or, you got to get down here in 5 seconds or 7 seconds or things like that. Here's the thing at the end of the day. They're not like the players today, no matter if they're adult now or whatever, if you're still playing, a lot of them are not like they used to be, right? So if you play a game and put something against it, people will play more than just saying, hey, I got to run a ladder for 30 seconds. How many people are going to dog that or not run it fast enough, even though they could do it in 20 seconds, and they wait and they dog it and they only wait till 29 seconds to get it done? Icebreakers, you do that the first couple practices, especially if you're doing a national team. And then what I recommend for all teams, no matter what, do breakaway games. Those things are awesome, competitive, and you can also get a trophy. So then you can have teams picked, and you can do games like that, and I can go over them if you have any questions on that.
For example?
If you're let's say you're doing a thing where you're doing snapping, right? So what you do is you could either do it with the garbage cans if you want, or just have the coach, the two coaches or one coaches do snapping, and you put everyone as a center, and they have to snap the ball at a certain part. So that has to hit your belt buckle. So that would be one competition I would do, because most teams nowadays that are adults, they'll run shotgun. I like under center, because here's what's funny. If you notice, when you play a lot of teams, you hardly have anybody up in the front. So if you're running and you get your 15 yards or 10 yards of carry, I don't know about you, but if I can run the ball and get 10 yards of carry and flag, I'm all for it. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm all for it. That's why if you see the misdirection plays we run, if you saw it with the little kids, you might think that's funny, but it does work with adults too, because I've seen it done before. Because I got it from the adults.
Yeah.
Does that help out, Devin?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Film session before and after practice with coaches or with players. If you have access to internet, example like Watch Game Film, you can write notes in there. You can also see with Watch Game Film, just like Huddle, but Watch Game Film's a little better about this. You can see exactly what they're looking at when they're on there and all things for that. So I would definitely make sure kids are watching film, because the reason when I took over for offensive coordinator at our school in Rockford, we went from 194 points a season. Now we are at, last 2 seasons, we are at 385 for 12 games. And this year at 13 games, we are at 425, I believe, 2 years ago. And this year we were at 485. We almost scored 500 points in 13 games. So my coaching strength, if you haven't noticed, besides being boring, I am also good looking, just so you know. I just don't want to show you my face. But I'm very organized as a Boy Scout, if you know me very well. Other tips with practice plans, okay? Instead of saying circus lines, I would say this. If you're having practice and people are standing around, they're not learning anything. So don't be that gospel. If you have a gospel coach that talks and talks and talks and says how great he was and things like that, I'm just saying right now, my name's Devin. So it's not Coach Stone talking, it's Devin. But don't have the circus lines. Don't be just standing around not learning anything. If you're learning to teach, then have someone do it while you're doing it. I did build a thing called the drill speed level. I can share it if you guys want to. Just leave your email at the bottom in the chat. And then we can collect a bunch of emails and I can send them all out at once. But it pretty much just says, you do a walk with or without equipment. You do jog with or without equipment. You do half speed, you do, full speed, and then you do game tempo. So areas to improve on when you're at practice. What do we need to fix for the next week? If my team cannot pull flags, we need to pull flags. No matter what happens. The reason why we scored so many points against that other team is they could not stop our offense. The only problem is I could not stop them on defense because we couldn't pull flags. If you watch that whole game that Becky showed you, I only scored 3 times in that game. And the reason I did it is so they didn't get the ball back fast enough. Because when we were scoring and we scored over that 50-point mark, I'm telling you right now, we would score. And then I was like, oh, great, we're up by 1. And then all of a sudden they would score. And then we would score again. And it was like, I'm not into a shootout. I'd rather make them think about their plays than everything else. Which player needs to improve on what? So as a coach, here's what you need to do, especially with the insertion schedule. You can write in there a player and then say, hey, this is what I want this guy to work on, or this lady to work on, or this boy or this girl to work on to get better each and every week. And if you've done that as a coach, it's a great feeling. It's like a MasterCard commercial, and it's priceless when it happens. Work on the plays to improve on your chances of scoring. So I saw, like, if we saw with the one film the one coach showed beforehand, I saw like probably 16 throwbacks, it felt like. I know he replayed it over and over again, but that's what a lot of people do. So what plays can you improve on to do that? So if you're doing that throwback play and they're not doing it correctly, that's something you could tell the ref before the game starts. And have them make, and then lastly, have a plan to make sure you hit on a couple of the top, a couple of skills and drills: agility, flag pulling, FBI, and conditioning. What FBI stands for is football intelligence for all you people. Here's a practice plan of one of my old flag teams. This was in 2015. It's just a little kid one. And I know there's some lines missing, but you just see what we did. We did announcements and we handed out playbooks. Idea was hockey lines so the kids could pick the offensive, defensive plays. And they got to pick the plays. They got to pick the language. Everything they got to do, they got to pick it. I'm not that coach where I come either to your program if I travel or whatever. I don't try to change your terminology, especially if the kids invented it or the guys invented it, because they're going to learn it that way. If you come in with a whole playbook and then you make people learn it, there are some players that are great athletes that won't learn nothing. They won't be able to learn it. They'll have to ask the whole time. Okay. Snap and catch drill. That's what we do under center and shotgun. Walk through offensive lead, reverse quarterback stuff. 2 groups, walk through there and scrimmage in that things. And then announcements, I did t-shirts every season for the players. Okay, questions on practice plans. I see there was a question. Oops. Okay, so very simple. If you go back to my plan, right? Okay. Okay, so if you want to know it's more detail, it's very simple, okay? Don't tell my son or my wife or kids I said this, but I don't like to lose. I don't like to do it at all. When I'm coaching little kids, I tell them it's not about winning, and it's not. But when you start getting paid for it and things like that, or even if I'm coaching little kids, I will make sure I will put every kid in there, no matter what, in a possible chance of winning. And building a kid's confidence up, or an adult's confidence up, is more important than getting a win or a loss at the end of the day. But here's what I want to do. In a practice plan format, my format is very simple. What do I need to do? How do I deliver it? And how do I get it done in the ample amount of time? And if I can get those 3 things done, I know I did a service for that practice plan and going into it. So if I want to run the ball a lot, I'm going to work more on mesh than I am about throwing the ball to the quarterback. If the ball needs to be snapped in the shotgun because the kids are so fast because they're so much older than us, I have to practice it over and over and over and over again if it's little kids. If it's older kids, I still have to practice over and over again, and I have to have more than one person snapping the ball. So by just breaking it down in different sections, with my practice plan that you saw earlier, that was right here, I will take things out of here, and that's how I implement my practice. And that's how I create my practice plan on a daily basis. And if you want to, I can show you an insertion schedule that's not done. Coaching depth. Run an offense and defense that suits your team. Don't run an offense that you don't have the athletes for. I'm almost done, okay, Dev?
Yeah.
This was the size of my assistant coach's first playbook just for offense when I first had him for flag football. I am not lying to you. When I first started when I was 5 years old, and the guy's still coaching me now, and he's actually a coach at the middle school level now. He's a head coach. You believe that? 5 years from now. I'm sorry. Yeah, it'd be 5-6 years ago. He literally sent me a book, and he sent me an email that has that many pages, felt like, for an offense. And it had so many tweaks and so many things like that. And I said, where'd you learn this from? And he gave me like 17 sources. And I said, how much is yours? He's like, nothing. And I said, come back with me and make a playbook that's your stuff, or you and your son made it. And we came up with NFL teams. And I can show you that if you want to see that on Just Play Solution. More tips. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Don't ever, and I mean this, don't ever let your starting quarterback ever, again, play your scout team quarterback. It creates bad habits. Don't ever do that. I understand we're in flag football and we only have a certain number of players, but I guarantee you all of you have 2 quarterbacks. So your quarterback that's number 2, your slinger, your gun guy, he's the one he's like the scat guy. Let him be the scout team quarterback. He'd help a ton and immensely. Also, remind them about down and distance. And I tell every player this, and especially a quarterback, never make a bad play into a worse play. Any other questions right now? Not, I'm going to go on. I didn't see any. If we want to, I don't have enough time, but if you guys want me to come back, I can be more than happy to do some drills and techniques, because just like sports and physical education games, they may have changed the name, but the foundations of the games are still the same. We can just do that, but we don't have time for that. So this is, if you go to my website, these are the promo codes you can get. The ones that are in bold are ones for your flag program. Okay, if you want any information, you can go to my website and just contact me and I can get you in touch with people. But I definitely recommend the Watch Game Film. PB Athletics is a great travel bag. It fits everything in there that you need. Your second skull, everything, your equipment, all that stuff. Just Play Solution, you saw the promo code earlier. The high and tight ball, if you guys do run the ball a lot, it's a football that beeps when you hold it. Go Army Edge, if you're in the US, you're able to download. It's a free football app that turns after you draw it up on a dry erase board, it turns into Madden. The Athletic Athlete Intelligence. They have a mouthpiece that'll do stuff for help you with concussions. You can wear that during the game or practice. And then, of course, Kevin Lynch with the Second Skull. There's a promo code on my thing, but if you're more interested, you can email me or contact me for more information. I'm gonna. Can you guys see this video, Devin?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Is it lagging or no?
It's good. It's better than yesterday.
Okay.
We have Stone. We have 2 minutes.
All right. So just do me a favor if you want to. We'll post this on there. Okay.
Okay.
So last thing is, remember, we have the Watch Game Film special that you want to definitely look into. These are my Back to the Basics books on Amazon. Right now, there are currently 9 out. There are 2 more that are already done. I cannot talk about the one, but I can show you the other one that's out. It'll be funny because the last guy talked about it, sort of. But the one on the far right in the middle in tic-tac-toe, that's the flag book. And also the Volume 3 Special Teams. Those 2 have won awards this year for best football books out. The bottom one is a clinic notebook. I would definitely recommend getting it if you do clinics or Zoom clinics. It does everything for you when you're in there. And then this one's already completed. It's already done, but I haven't posted it or published it yet just because with the whole virus thing going on. It's about breaking down film and a lot more of my secrets that no one ever knew about. So, and with that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining this Zoom clinic. I hope you leave with something, at least 1 or 2 things. If you have any questions, I can answer them. If not, I can just write your email down or send Devin your emails or send me the emails, and I can send you guys those insertion schedules after you do that thing.
Thank you, Stone. Appreciate it. If you guys have
Perfect.
questions, please reach out to him on his email. Email us in the group.